All right, you guys, so let's talk characterization. What is characterization? That sounds like a big word. I don't know if I want to talk about it. Yes, we do. Because guess what? Characterization is easy. It's what is it that a character is thinking, feeling, doing, right? And doing is easy because it's just part of the plot. It's part of what are their actions? What can you physically see on paper? But that's not all that we're looking to find out, right? Because if it was just about physically seeing, that's understanding the plot. That's not actually digging into the character and creating analysis. So all this talk about analysis. I know you've watched the other videos that talk about literary analysis and that sort of thing, but ultimately, how does that work in terms of a character? Well, if you see a character walking through a park, for example, and they close their eyes and they stand still for a minute, and what are they doing? The story doesn't tell you. It tells you that they're standing still, they're closing their eyes. Are they enjoying the warmth of the sun? Are they thinking? Are they just enjoying peace? What is it that they're doing? And now, how do you tell that? Well, that can be difficult sometimes, but ultimately, you can usually tell based on the context clues. You've heard more about this character than just this one particular instance. Are they someone who lives a very hectic lifestyle, running around doing all of these different things? If that's the case, then maybe they are just enjoying a moment away from life, right? And is that something that you should care about? Well, yeah, because, what does that tell you right there? That one example, a character living a hectic life in their day-to-day, and then walking through a park, standing still, closing their eyes, and just being for a moment. Well, that tells you, hey, maybe they need a moment. That tells you, hey, maybe this hectic lifestyle is starting to get to them, right? And then from there, you can think, well, why? Why is it starting to get to them? Why do they need this moment of peace here? Why? Okay? And that brings us to the whys. Now, in literary analysis, you'll be thinking about the whys very often. And why is that? Another why. It's because everything that we think in terms of analysis comes from somewhere. What gave us that clue, right? Why do you feel that way? Why did you come to this conclusion? Why did the story help contribute to this particular analysis? Right? So it's all about the whys. And it's important that not only in an essay that you explain, hey, why? Why do I think this? But it's also important when we're just having conversation in class, right? Why is it you feel that way? Point to a particular page. Where's a quotation or a paraphrase of an instance that shows you why, right? And one, that provides your reader or someone who's having a conversation with you an opportunity to look at the data, right? If we want to use that D word, why do you feel that way? And then this reader or person you're having a conversation with can look to it and say, yeah, I can see that. Or they could say, well, I don't actually think their eyes are closed because they're just sort of chilling for a second. I think that their eyes are closed because they're feeling some sort of intense emotional pain, right? And then you would say to them, okay, why? What makes you feel that way? Why do you think like that? Right? So you really want to dig into it deeper. Now, characterization doesn't happen on its own. In fact, none of these literary elements that we're going to talk about in this class happen in a vacuum, right? They happen in relation to other things. So you'll see that right now, we've just talked about another element, right? Setting, the world that this character lives in. Now, you'll also see when we start talking about setting that the setting doesn't happen in a vacuum either. The setting happens in relation to the characters, right? The people who are living in it. Because otherwise, why does it matter? It's just like looking at a photo. You take a photo of a person, they look happy. Well, are they happy? You don't really know. They look sad. Are they sad, or are they just trying to look sad for the photo? You don't have any context. The context happens from everything around it. So you don't want to write an essay specifically on characterization and then end up falling back on the plot, right? Because ultimately that doesn't really help you. It needs to tell you something more, right? The why. Why does the character feel this way? Is it because they're feeling pressured by society? Well, there's the big why, right? The interesting why. So you really want to be careful that when you're thinking of what to write about and what to analyze and how you're analyzing it, that you not only ask it in a very narrow way, right? Why is this particular instance something to think about? But what's the big picture? How does it relate? Okay? And that is where you'll find your interesting perspective, right? And in reading, in conversation, all of these things require interest from both parties. Okay, so in writing an essay, that interest will have to come from your reader. In a conversation, that interest comes from the other person you're having a conversation with. Because guess what? Either way, if the person is not interested, they're not going to be interacting with your ideas, and you need them to. So remember to think about the whys. Why does it matter? Why does this particular instance that you're pointing out tell us about something bigger, right? Why? Why? That's the big thing. All right, you guys, hopefully that helps you understand characterization, figure out how a character seen as a person will fit into the grand scheme of things, how to develop your literary analysis from there. All right, so have a great rest of your day. If you need anything, let me know. Email me, send me a text, call me, all of those things. Come to office hours, schedule a meeting, whatever you need. All right, so I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.